In this series of lessons, we will be reviewing the Basics Training Manual. To reinforce the lessons, we encourage you to use the pause button during each lesson and try the lesson example for yourself. Once you've installed Xllerate, you may locate the Xllerate command menu here on Excel's main toolbar. And this is the Xllerate toolbar icon. It is designed to give you quick access to the most commonly used Xllerate functions. In Excel 2007, Xllerate has been moved to the Add-ins tab. Here are the Xllerate menu commands, and here are the Xllerate toolbar icons. To add the Xllerate menu commands to the Quick Access toolbar, right-click on the menu commands title, select Add to the Quick Access toolbar, and here's the menu command icon on the Quick Access toolbar. To add the Xllerate toolbar, just right-click on the custom toolbar title, select Add to the Quick Access toolbar, and there's the custom toolbars icon containing the Xllerate icons. We are on page 10 if you are following along in the training manual. To create an Xllerate program worksheet, you have a couple of options. Option 1, select Xllerate on the main menu toolbar, then Create Program Worksheet. Or Option 2, you may press the Create a Program Worksheet icon on the Xllerate toolbar. Enter the desired program name. In this case, I'm going to call my program Test. Click the OK button, and that's all there is to creating a new Xllerate program worksheet. This is a standard Xllerate program worksheet. Let's review the program worksheet in a little more detail. Row 1 is reserved for the program variable field header row. Column B is reserved for predefined TLC commands. TLC stands for Tabular Layout Commands. Rows 2 through the end of your program may be used to write step-by-step instructions telling Xllerate what tasks to perform. So for example, to insert a worksheet, we would choose Insert, then Insert Worksheet. Xllerate would then prompt you for the information needed to create a worksheet. To create a new worksheet named Data, we would enter Data in cell C2. Cells C through L are reserved for information necessary to provide the TLC function, and in this case, Insert Worksheet, with the information it needs to complete the requested task. This lesson will cover pages 12 and 13 from the manual. For ease of programming, Xllerate has more than 40 tabular layout commands, or TLC functions. You may review these functions on the Xllerate Quick Start worksheet. The TLC functions include programming tasks such as loops, which you can locate over here under the Program category, subroutine calls, database queries, which can be found over here under the Data category, or the Application category for Access Database queries. Xllerate also has functionality with regard to Outlook, File Manager, and various other tasks. In the case of Format Sheet, that TLC function would be located under the category Format, and from the Format category list box, you will locate Format Sheet. Format Sheet is located in the same location on the program worksheet, Format and Format Sheet. You will be prompted for the data needed to complete this particular line of code. For example, in this line of code, WSV1 is requesting an action type. What action would we like to perform? We want to select a worksheet. Scroll down the list box and locate Select. Now it's asking for the name of the worksheet to select. For our example, I will enter Sheet 1. This particular line of code is complete. If I were to run or step through the code right now, this line of code would select Sheet 1 located in this workbook. In this lesson, we will be reviewing the information on page 14 in your training manual. To assist with locating a TLC function that will perform a needed task, a keyword search feature is available. To access the keyword search, select Help from the main menu drop-down list. The drop-down list will change after Help has been selected. Scroll down the New list and locate the desired keyword. In this example, I will look for the keyword column. Once the column keyword has been selected, the available options in the drop-down list will change again. Review the column drop-down list for new options related to column activities. If my task were to select columns A through F, I would choose the column range option. Once again, the drop-down list has changed and has narrowed down the list of options to one choice, Format Column. To select a column, locate the Select action and complete the remaining parameters. We are on page 11 in your training manual. To add or insert a new TLC function onto your program worksheet, just go to the next available blank row and press the Delete key on your keyboard. If you press the Delete key multiple times, it will toggle between deleting and adding a new TLC function code row. Another method is to select Xllerate TLC Functions list from the Xllerate drop-down menu. This will give you access to the 40+ TLC functions in a long list. You can also select the Refresh TLC icon on the Xllerate toolbar. This will provide you access to the same long list of TLC functions. As you create a new Xllerate program worksheet, you are presented with two setup options. First, whether to have the help tip comments on each line of code, and second, whether you need documentation worksheets in the current program workbook. Documentation worksheets are discussed in other lessons. For the first few programming sessions, Xllerate will present you with a comment reminding you as to how to navigate and locate TLC functions. At any time, you may turn on or turn off help tip comments by changing the value in cell A1 from help tips to notes. The comment in cell 1 also provides a description of program focus. Program focus is discussed in another lesson. Assume we select the Format Sheet TLC function. If cell A1 has been set to help tip, your code will be supplemented with help tip comment boxes. The comment box in column A will summarize the purpose of the TLC function and describe available options. As your cursor moves to WSV1, the help tip comment for that field will be displayed briefly. In this example, the help tip instructs you to select from the drop-down list box. Once Copy has been selected in WSV1, the cursor is automatically moved to WSV2, and the help tip instructions for that box are now displayed. For this TLC function, different instructions are denoted depending on the value selected in WSV1. WSV1 equals copy. Therefore, the instructions for copy request the entry of a single worksheet name. After the entry of Sheet 1 in WSV2, the cursor is automatically moved to WSV3. The instructions here dictate if WSV1 equals copy, then enter a worksheet name. Once you have entered a worksheet name in WSV3, this code line is complete. This code line now reads, make a copy of Sheet 1 and name the new copy My Test. We are on page 9 of the training manual. At any time, you may access the Xllerate Help manual if you need further instructions on a particular TLC function. Place your cursor on any cell of the TLC function to be researched. Select the Xllerate Help from the main toolbar, Xllerate Help, or click the Xllerate Help icon on the Xllerate toolbar. The help is context sensitive. It will take you directly to the TLC function requested. In this example, we selected Format Sheet Copy. The help is broken down into several sections. The first section is the syntax of the TLC. Next, any notes or help tips for this function, prerequisites, postrequisites, and an example of how to use this TLC function. In this example, code row 2 is making a copy of the data worksheet and naming the new worksheet My Test. Additionally, the help manual provides a view of the data before the function has been applied and after, demonstrating the effect of the TLC function on the data. You'll notice in this particular case, the worksheet data has been copied to the new worksheet My Test. Since Xllerate was written to automate the existing Excel commands, many of the Xllerate TLC functions were designed to look and work in the same manner as its Excel counterpart. To sort data in Excel, you select the columns, go to Data, Sort on the main menu, and complete the required fields on the panel. We can compare the Excel Sort panel to the Xllerate Data Sort function. Recall, we sorted columns A through F when sorting in the manual method. I have entered columns A through F in WSV1 or cell C2 as the range address to sort. WSV2 or cell D2 needs information regarding the header row. Does the range to be sorted have a header row, yes or no? In this case, it does. In WSV3 and WSV4, cells E2 and F2, what is the first field header name and what is the requested sort order? In WSV5 and WSV6, it requests the information for the second field header sort. Since there's not a third field header in this example, I have cleared the contents of WSV7 and WSV8. For a continued discussion of the similarities between Excel panels and Xllerate TLC functions, refer to pages 16 through 18 in the training manual. A summary of this lesson can be found on pages 19 through 21 of the training manual. Open your copy of the Program_Xllerate Base workbook. Your copy is located under Start, Programs, Xllerate, Xllerate Basic Training Program. Navigate to the Table of Contents worksheet. The Table of Contents worksheet lists and describes all the worksheets in the Xllerate Base workbook. Click on the hyperlink for the Data Source worksheet located in cell A9, and you should be redirected to the Data Source worksheet. If we wanted to write a program that would create a new workbook and would format the data like the one shown at the bottom of page 20, what steps would need to be performed in order for that to happen? You may find it easier to write your program if you summarize the tasks that are required by comparing the before view, which is your program's inputs, with the after view, which is the output of the program, and in this case, the output is going to be a report. Let me summarize the list of tasks for you. The salesperson column is sorted alphabetically or in ascending order. The product number column is sorted in ascending order. The field header row has been formatted with a bold font. 4 rows have been inserted at the top of the worksheet. The report title of My Company Sales Report has been inserted in cell A1 and has been formatted with a bold blue font. The data source worksheet has been copied to a new workbook. The new workbook has been saved with the file name myfile.xls. We will be reviewing the information on pages 22 through 25 in the training manual. You may remember from the Create a Program worksheet lesson how to create a program worksheet. From the main menu, go to Xllerate and Create a Program worksheet. Or click the Create a Program worksheet from the Xllerate icon toolbar. Enter the program name. Press the OK button. The first thing to do would be to copy the data source worksheet to a new workbook. What is the proper TLC function to create a new workbook? Go to the Help keyword search under the main menu and search for the desired keyword. Keywords to create a new workbook might include File, New, Create, or Workbook. Selecting any of these keywords will assist in narrowing down your options until the correct TLC function is located. I'll be selecting the keyword Workbook. The Workbook keyword drop-down list has presented us with several options. Since the goal is to create a new workbook, the New keyword seems to be the appropriate selection. The New keyword drop-down list displays only one option, File Multifunction. The cursor is automatically moved to cell C2, also referred to as WSV1. The requested variable in WSV1 is an action type. From the action type drop-down list, select New. Once New has been selected in WSV1, the WSV4 variable will need the name of the worksheet to be copied to the new workbook. In our example, Data Source. When this program runs, this line of code will create a new workbook and copy the worksheet named Data Source, which currently resides in this workbook, to the newly created workbook. Why don't we step through the code and watch what happens? The program has highlighted the first line of code. Notice the program has copied the Data Source worksheet to a new workbook. Look at the upper left-hand corner of the window. The workbook name is Book 2, and the Data Source worksheet is present. I'm going to cancel the step through and return to the program workbook. The discussion of program focus is on page 26 in the training manual. Before writing the next line of code, I want to take a quick timeout to review program focus. When programming in Xllerate, the location of the active cursor is important. The location of the active cursor tells Xllerate on what cell, worksheet, and workbook to perform programmed tasks. The green text in a TLC function code row indicates a change in the program's focus. Accordingly, the green text in a workbook name variable field, like New in WSV1, is an indicator that subsequent lines of code will be performed on that workbook. The same is true for green text in a worksheet or range address variable field. In the present example, the data source worksheet is green, therefore all subsequent lines of code will be performed on the data source worksheet. The program's focus will remain on the data source worksheet in the new workbook until another TLC function changes the focus. The program focus status is available to you as you step through the program. See the footprint icon in the Xllerate icon toolbar? That stands for Step Through. Just click the Step Through icon, and the Xllerate program will step through each line of code, highlighting the line of code to be performed. In the status bar, located in the lower left corner of the screen, Xllerate will display the current focus of the program. Since the program has just started, the focus is on the Xllerate Base Workbook, the My Program worksheet, and cell A1. The action of this line of code changes the focus of the program to the new workbook, the data source worksheet, and cell A1. And here are the results of the action from that line of code. I'm going to cancel the step through and return to the program workbook. If you are following along in the manual, we are on page 27. The next task is to sort the data. What is the proper TLC function to sort data? When you are unsure as to the proper TLC function to use, select Help from the main menu drop-down list. Look for the keyword Sort. From the keyword Sort drop-down menu, select the Cells Sort option. From the Cells Sort drop-down menu, select Data Sort. Now that the TLC function has been located, the variables necessary to complete this code line must be entered. WSV1, the first variable in this code line, needs range address information. If you need to review the target worksheet, just select Data Source and review the data. The range to be sorted is columns A through F. Therefore, A:(F) is the value needed for WSV1. Does the range A through F have a field header row? Range A through F on the Data Source worksheet does indeed have a header row. So we need to enter yes in response to the WSV2 variable. WSV3 needs the field header name by which to perform the first sort. That would be salesperson. WSV4 is the sort order of the salesperson field, which in this case will be ascending. Do we need to sort by a second field header? In this example, we want to sort by product number, so WSV5 would equal product number. The sort order for product number is ascending, therefore WSV6 would be ascending. There's no need to sort by a third field header name, so I will just press the delete key on my keyboard to clear the contents of WSV7 and WSV8. At any time during the programming, you may step through the program and verify that each line of code is performing the desired action. Let's take a moment and step through the code now. Code row 2 will create a new workbook and insert the data source worksheet. And the results show that the program has done that. Code row 3 will sort columns A through F by salesperson and then by product number, both in ascending order. You can just see that the salesperson field is in ascending order, and the product number field is also sorted in ascending order within salesperson. I'm going to cancel the step through and return to the program workbook. For the next line of code, we need to format the field header row on the data source worksheet in a bold font. To locate the TLC function that performs cell formatting, go to the Help keyword search and locate the word Format. From the Format keyword drop-down list, select Cells. From the Cells keyword drop-down list, select Format Cells. In reviewing the action type in WSV1, I have located the Format action. Notice the single quote in front of the row address? Here's why. In Excel, if you type 1:1 in a cell, Excel assumes you are entering a date timestamp entry and will format the entry with a date timestamp format. Therefore, you must enter a single quote before any row, range, address variable. Variable WSV3 needs the cell format type. I'm going to select as the cell is currently formatted. This will apply the format of WSV3, or cell E4 in this example, to row 1 of the data source worksheet. To format WSV3, use Excel's standard cell formatting process. While your cursor is sitting in WSV3, go to Format, Cells, and remove the Wrap Text attribute, and then select a bold font. Since the actual formatting of WSV3 is what will be applied to the target range, I'm going to type some text in WSV3 that will indicate the type of formatting to be applied. This text is only used by you during the step-through process to visually confirm what formatting should have been applied. The next task is to insert 4 rows at the top of the target worksheet to make room for the report title. Click on cell B5 and from the main menu drop-down list, select Insert. Then select Insert Rows. Since we wish to insert 4 blank rows at the top of the worksheet, I will enter 1:4. Remember to use the single quote on all row, range, address variables. Now it's time to insert the report title on the target worksheet. Unsure which TLC function to use? Using the Help keyword search on the main menu, look for the text keyword. From the text keyword drop-down list, review the available options. Notice the Insert Text into a Cell option. From the Insert Text into a Cell keyword drop-down list, select the Insert Function formula. The WSV1 variable needs the range address to insert the text. That would be cell A1. The text for the report title will be My Company Sales Report. The format of the title is supposed to be a bold, blue font and without any text wrap. Since we have formatted cells previously in this program, we can just copy the Format Cells function from row 4 and paste it on row 7. Select the format action type. Enter the range address as A1. For the format type, select as the cell is currently formatted. I'm going to format WSV3 with a bold and blue font and remove the wrap text. Do you need to insert a new line of code? All you have to do is move your cursor to the next blank cell in column B and press the Delete key on your keyboard. The next task is to save the new target workbook. From the main menu drop-down, select File and File Multifunction. The action type needed is Save. The WSV2 variable needs the directory path. We will use C:\mydir. The file name is myfile.xls. No password is required for this file, so I will remove the password variable by pressing the Delete key on the keyboard. As a side note, regarding WSV2, the directory path on row 8, don't worry if the directory path doesn't exist. Xllerate will automatically create the directory path. To signal the end of this program, enter the last line of code. As a matter of good practice, this should be the last line of code in all of your programs. Refer to the bottom of page 31 in the training manual. Are you ready to see the program run? From the menu bar, select Xllerate, Run Program. Or from the Xllerate icon toolbar, you can select the Run Program icon. Done. What exactly just happened? To find out, you will need to step through the program. If you're following along in the training manual, we're on page 32. Stepping through the program allows us to watch the code perform one code line or action at a time, and then review the results of the code line's action. You can either use the Xllerate Step Through program on the command menu, or you can use the Step Through icon on the Xllerate toolbar. Code Row 2 will create a new workbook and insert the worksheet data source into the workbook. The step through for this line of code consists of several subtasks. Each panel displayed will give you information about the subtask being performed. Code Row 3 will sort the data source worksheet by salesperson and then by product number, both in ascending order. Code Row 4 directs the program to format the first row of the target worksheet with a bold font and no text wrapping. Code Row 5 will insert 4 blank rows in preparation for the report title. Code Row 6 will insert the report title. Code Row 7 will format the report title with a bold blue font and with no text wrapping. Code row 8 will save the workbook to the C:\mydir directory using the file name myfile.xls. Refer to the focus status and note the change to the new workbook name. Code row 9 is the last line of code, and this line tells Xllerate this is the end of our program. Okay, why don't you take a quick timeout to review the questions on page 38 and put some of that knowledge you've just learned to use with the hands-on practice review on page 39. Are you ready to further accelerate your thinking? Let's create a report using the unformatted data source worksheet in the Xllerate Base workbook. When your program is complete, the results should look like the report at the bottom of page 40. A listing of the tasks required are highlighted. Don't forget to use the step-through process to verify your results. Remember, create a copy of the original worksheet and use the copy as your target worksheet. Exercise number 2 is on page 44 in the training manual. In this exercise, we will be investigating the autofilter function. If you were to try to autofilter data manually through Excel, what would you need to do? First, you would have to place your cursor on a cell in the range to be autofiltered. The range would need to be a contiguous region of cells. Apply the autofilter by going to Data on the main menu toolbar, select Filter, then Autofilter. Once the autofilter has been applied, you have an option to select a data element from the drop-down list in any of the columns. In this example, I will select Alec Diamond from the Salesperson drop-down list. And this is how your worksheet should look after that selection. Okay, now how do we automate this? I want to create a program that would filter for the salesperson Alec Diamond. First, I would create an Xllerate program worksheet. I'll just call it New. I have to tell Xllerate on what sheet to create the autofilter. So the first step is to select a sheet. I don't know where that is, so I'll use the Help keyword search and look for the word Select. From the Select drop-down list, I have located the keyword Sheets, and then from the Sheets keyword drop-down list, I have located the option Format Sheet. For the action type, I choose Select. For the worksheet name, I will enter data_source. To continue, I'll need the Help keywords assistance once again to locate the autofilter TLC function. My filter type is autofilter. The current region address. The upper left-hand cell of my data is located in cell A1, so I'll enter cell A1. My goal is to filter on the salesperson name field for Alec Diamond, so I will enter salesperson as my field name. My expression equals. I want all salespeople equal to the name Alec Diamond. Filter value number 1 is the salesperson's name, and that would be Alec Diamond. Is there a second salesperson name? There is not, so I'll clear the contents of that cell using the delete key. In addition, I'll clear the rest of them. Now let me show you the data source worksheet before we run the program. Now I'll run the program. And that's the data source worksheet after the program has been run. This was a simple example of autofiltering. Please review exercise number 2 for additional autofilter examples. Before starting exercise number 3 on page 56, don't forget to remove the autofilter that you placed on the data source worksheet from exercise number 2. Exercise 3 introduces several new concepts, including inserting formulas, subtotals, page setup, moving columns, and inserting formulas using a field header. The provided sample solution to exercise number 3 is discussed in row-by-row detail on pages 61 through 66 in the training manual. Okay, I'm at a point in my code where I need to insert a formula down a row of columns. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to just run my program. You can see I'm at a point where I need to copy a formula down this column of data. This looks like it may be complicated, but Xllerate has an assistant to help us create this line of code. Let's learn a bit more about formulas and Xllerate's command bar function, Field Header Formula Assistant. The Field Header Formula Assistant is located in the Assistant submenu on the Xllerate Command Menu toolbar. This was designed as a tool to translate Excel formulas into Xllerate TLC function code layout. Place your cursor in cell F2 and type the following formula. Be sure and place your cursor back in cell F2. From the Xllerate Assistant menu, select the Field Header Formula Assistant. Xllerate has created the line of code, including translating the variables required to complete the function. Now copy code row 2 from the Formula Using Field Name Assistant worksheet to the Program Exercise 3 worksheet. Paste it on line 7. Now let's run the code and find out what happens. And there you have it. All it needs is a little formatting and this report's ready to go from this point forward. Okay, you have a project and you are anxious to program it with Xllerate. Before you begin, you will need to consider the following. 1. Understand your data. Where is your data located? For instance, will you be opening an existing file, querying information from a database, or retrieving information from emails? Who will be using the data? Will this data be sent to internal or external parties? Is it possible the format of the data will change? Remember, if others are responsible for maintaining the files you will access, be sure that they know your program relies on certain information such as column headers or file directory location. Number 2, will you be using Task Scheduler to auto-run your programs? If yes, be sure to avoid times that may interfere with your scheduled system backups. Also consider the frequency of the auto-run scheduler. Should users be notified each time the program runs, or only when a specific event occurs? Does the program need to be kicked off every 5 minutes due to the critical nature of the program, or every 5 hours? Will automated tasks be scheduled on one machine for ease of tracking, or will each user run their auto tasks on their own machine? Number 3, if you need a password to access the data and you want to attach your program to the task scheduler, consider using an external query. The password can then be stored with the query and will not prohibit you from using the auto-run feature. 4th, remember in programming, there are many different methods and styles. Do not be afraid to try different combinations of Xllerate TLC functions to achieve your desired results. Number 5, when working on a project, it is helpful to separate the rows of code into logical tasks called modules or subroutines. This is particularly useful during development when you are querying information that may take several minutes to retrieve. Use one program worksheet for retrieving the data and another program worksheet for creating the report. Once all modules in your workbook have been programmed, they can be combined onto a final program worksheet using the program_subroutine call function. And finally, number 6 and number 7, as a programming standard, remember to use the Xllerate Programs variable and documentation worksheets to store important information about your program for yourself and others to refer to in the future. In general, it is a good idea to establish some programming standards. We refer to these as golden rules, and we can tell you from experience that your life will be much easier if you keep these concepts in mind as you program. Before you begin, establish company standards. Where will the programs be stored? Who will have access? Will there be a different directory for test versus production programs? Consider creating an inventory list or an index of programs and their general purpose. This will make it easier for individuals to search on available programs as your automated tasks continue to grow. While the inventory list will contain a brief description of your programs, you can use the Xllerate documentation worksheet to further give details that may be important. Second, do not change the original source data. Use Xllerate's functions to create a copy of the worksheet or file. This rule is important for two main reasons. First, it maintains the integrity of the original data source. Second, it allows the user to step through the process multiple times while programming without having to reset the data back to its original form. Our third golden rule, QC results. It is always important to check your data. Consider using a secondary source when possible to QC your data. For example, your program results may rely on a data sheet that has been queried from a detailed transaction table. With Xllerate, you can automate the QC to compare these results against a query from a secondary summary table. As another option, consider adding a delay to emails. This will allow you the time to open the email, ensure it is being sent to the correct user, and the correct document has been attached. Please turn to page 8 in the training manual. There are 3 documentation worksheets that are included with your Xllerate program. Each time you create a new program worksheet, an Xllerate Quick Start Guide worksheet is inserted into your program workbook. This reference guide serves as a one-page reminder of the TLC functions and other customized options available to you. We recommend you print a copy of the Quick Start Guide and use it as a reference while you learn to navigate through the Xllerate program. For an in-depth discussion of the Xllerate Program Documentation Worksheet and the Xllerate Program Variables Worksheet, please refer to the Xllerate Help Manual for additional information. Use the search term documentation. As you continue to accelerate your thinking, please contact us with your ideas and suggestions. You may contact us at training@xllerate.com.